Do you know this situation? You look to your clock exactly at 11 past 11 and you think, ooh, a coincidence. But I can tell you that is not a coincidence. If that happens to you, then your day can either become a really lucky one or you will experience several disasters after each other. Obviously, 11 is a very special number. And I wonder if this also applies to day 11 of Dephemerember. Today's prompt on our Dephemerember prompt list that you also can find in German and in English as a freebie down below this video. There's handmade stamp and jumbo tag today. I'm a little bit afraid because of several things, but that's not all. In our paper bag, today this is really thick. In our paper bag for day 11 of Dephemerember, we are going to find not only the international snack, really big, but also the animal that we can use for today, the toucan. And this is the international snack. Today it comes from Taiwan. We will save that for later. And since the prompt list says handmade stamp, I'm a little bit afraid because Barbara is the queen of handmade stamps for me. She is doing the most amazing handmade stamps in this entire world. I'm so... I guess I don't know the right English word. Barbara, deine Stempel sind einfach nur großartig. Ich ziehe so den Hut vor dir. Mega cool. Sorry, I had to say that in German. So I have the biggest respect for what she is doing in her videos, and she has also put some of the handmade stamps that she has made by herself into the journal. I mean, not the stamp itself, but the stamp impression. And since I have seen that in reality, while I flipped through the journal and while I'm working in the journal, I see them nearly every day. I'm totally out of control because that is just gorgeous, and that is, for me, a kind of art by itself, and that's so special. So today I want to go with some really simple materials because I don't have those fancy tools. So I thought about something that I, to be honest, have never done before, and I'm not totally sure if that will work. This project is at the moment just a theory in my brain, but I thought Dephemerember is the time where we can try out different things that we've never done before. And that's also something that Barbara and myself would like to encourage you to, so that you can also be, let's say, brave and try something that you've never done before. And of course, we also want to show that in our videos. That's the reason why I haven't tried that out, what I have in my brain at the moment before starting recording this video. And we will explore how it works, or if it works together. I would like to work on this page today. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to create the jumbo tag, because the prompt list says we shall do that. And for that, I would like to use this digital page here. This comes from my The Other Side of Rome set on Etsy. I will link that set down below for you. I have chosen this page because this pattern here from those tiles look a little bit like a stamp impression to me, like it is stamped. But these were tiles that I have digitalized, and I think that is really great. And then I thought about the size for my tag. I mean, a jumbo tag has to be something that is really big, of course. I mean, it's called jumbo, yeah? So then I thought perhaps we can make something that goes from the very top to the very bottom of the page, so the full height of the page. But then I realized that I actually do that really often in my journals, and that would be nothing that is unusual for me or something new or jumbo at all. Do you know what I mean? And while I thought about that, I came to the idea to make a tag that goes like this. I mean, I think in the most junk journals, you see tags that are in this direction, but those horizontal tags you see not so often. And I thought perhaps that's a possibility to create something different. And then I came to the idea that I also can make perhaps something special out of that tag, so that it is not only a tag. You will see that in a second, if my plan in my brain works. So I will just fold the paper in half. Please don't be confused. I have accidentally put some things here to the back that, please ignore that. So I'm folding that in half to be later on able to press this crease here into this area here where the both pages of the journal are meeting, so that it can be glued in there really secure. And the other reason is I can see better what I'm doing here. So then let's see how big that can be. I don't want to have it to the very edge of the page, but I'm leaving a little distance here. So let's see if that is enough for the other side. Ooh, that's a little bit long. Let's cut a little bit more off from here. So I'm taking this mark and then I'm just cutting this little piece off, so that we then are left with this thing, and that's totally great, I would say. So for the height, we can perhaps, what would look great? I want to have this little line here of the design on my tag, so let's eyeball that and cut it here. So then I'm going to take this, and now I'm seeing this in this direction, so like it would be a normal tag. So that means I'm cutting the edges off here, like on a normal tag as well. Just like this. Then I'm going to distress the edges a little bit. I'm using ground espresso oxide ink for that, because I think that matches this paper here really well. This comes from the Savannah printable from Barbara's shop. You can find Barbara's shop linked below this video as well, and of course below all of the other Dephemerember videos. So if you see a paper in this journal, then it's either from my shop or from her shop. So this one, as I said, is from her shop. If you have any questions about the printables, or if we perhaps missed saying something or mentioning from which kit it comes, then please feel free to leave a comment if you perhaps have seen a paper that you want to have for your own collection and you can't find it. Please feel free to let us know and we will try to help you out. So now we have that, and this is actually really cute how this little giraffe is peeking out there. Really funny. So now I'm going to take this and I want to glue that down now. But with gluing, I also want to create two pockets. Saying that brings me to the idea that I have forgotten something. So let me just fold that in half and put two little holes, or actually half holes here, so that you can see that it is a pocket. Then it will go here like this, and you can see here's a pocket and there's a pocket. And now we are going to take our glue, and I'm putting the glue here and here on the bottom, the whole way through to the other edge here on the left side. And then I'm going up here and I'm putting some glue here as well. And to be sure, that this here in the middle can't come off from the page. I mean, if I would glue it like this, then here would be no glue. And if I flip the pages, then it could happen that this whole thing comes up. Because of that, I'm putting some glue here as well. And then be careful what you are doing now. I'm doing this little trick. I'm taking it like this so that I first can get the right position. I'm taking a ruler or something similar, put that in here to be able to press this down into this fold here first, so that I have that in the right position, and then you can just do it like this and like this, and you can make sure that this is really in the right place and that you don't have any glue that goes into places where it shall go. Here on the digital paper you can see these damages that were in those tiles, and I want to bring this out a little bit more. And I also don't like this area here, and I'm also, to be honest, not sure about this part of the giraffe anymore. This looks cute, but for my idea this would be really confusing in the end if she stays here. So I'm taking some texture paste opaque crackle, and I want to randomly put that here. Sorry, little giraffe, I'm really sorry. Like this, and this seems to be really white at the moment, I know, but later on we can put some ink or something on top to color it in a little bit. But first of all we have to let this dry, of course. So this is dry now, and I've realized that it crumbles up here a little bit because obviously here was not enough glue, but don't panic. That brought me to the idea to just do it like this. Why not? I would perhaps do that with a normal tag as well, and just make some little distressed areas here and there. And we can just go over the crackle paste. Then I'm spritzing just a tiny little bit of water to let the ink run a little bit. And because you can never have enough pockets in a junk journal, and because we have this left over, I thought we can perhaps just take this and put a second layer then this can go here like this later. And because I know myself, and I know that I perhaps will later on forget that, I will just take my crocodile and add an eyelet here. Ooh. It has destroyed my paper a little bit, but that doesn't matter. And I want to put this thing here to the top. This is some fabric that Barbara has sent to me with the journal. I just want to put that through here. And now I will not make a knot or something similar, because that is too bulky later when I want to glue that. Instead of doing that, I'm just taking a stapler and I'm stapling this here, perhaps two, because that looks better, like this, so that this whole thing is really flat when we want to glue that later. And this we will need in a second, but before we need that, we have to do something else, because the prompt list also says handmade stamp. And that means I'm going to try to make a handmade stamp now. I have taken out several die cuts for my idea, I have these silhouette birds by Zizix and Tim Holtz. I know this is not a toucan, I know, but please wait. And I've also taken out these wildflower stamps, these both sets, because in the end of this video, I want to show you something that I thought about for a very long time, but I have never tried it out. I want to try to stamp with the die cuts itself, and I thought it fits very well to the theme of this video, so I will do that in the end. Of course, die cuts are no handmade stamps, yeah, but it's an additional idea what you can do. And for my idea, I want to use these birdies here. If you don't have die cuts, then please don't freak out. You can also do this method by cutting some shapes out of a paper. That also would work. Or you could also take some punches like this, or perhaps bigger than this, and make some abstract stamps with the same idea that I will show you now. The plan for my handmade stamps is the following. I want to cut out these silhouette birds, and then I want to glue several layers of those on top of each other to get a thicker piece. And that I want to then attach to these little wooden blocks here. I've found those a very long time ago, and I thought that would be perfect for a stamp, a handmade stamp, but I had never used them, and now they are really perfect for my project. If you don't have such wood thingies here, you can also take, of course, a thicker piece of cardboard or something like that. This is just the backside from a watercolor paper pad. I guess this would also work. It has to be sturdy, of course, and I am using this wood because it's a little bit thicker, and you can take it and then stamp way more easy than with this thing. But I guess you can get creative and make something here so that you have like a little handle here that you can take it off from the paper more easily. And I thought, what would happen if I would cut my single birdies here out from normal paper? I thought that is perhaps not such a good idea, because when I want to use ink, ink is always, you know, it's wet. Yeah, so when the ink later on comes to the material where I have cut out the birdies from, then it could happen that it gets a little bit ugly with the time, or perhaps it will not stay there where it shall stay. So I came to the following idea: to take a piece of paper. This is just a regular copy paper, and I'm using some texture paste. This is the texture paste by Ranger, and it has this special surface. I have the feeling that that could work really well, and I want to use that on the last layer of my handmade stamp. That will make sense in a second. I'm doing it like this. I'm taking the texture paste with a spatula, and then I'm applying that here to my paper. And I'm trying to get that relatively regular, but please don't freak your freak if that is not so regular, because you can get really cool effects in the end when this is totally dry and cut out. So that means we can take our international snack now. Drying time is snack time, you know. Pocket mango from Taiwan. I've already opened it to show you the single pieces. They come in these little cute packages here. That looks really cute, actually. And I'm really hoping that not happens to me what I have seen in the TikTok videos. You shall open it here just by cutting this off, and then you can press it out and it comes out here. And I have seen several people on TikTok trying to eat this. That was actually really funny, because they pressed it into their mouth and it came back out of the nose because they had problems to eat it. And I'm hoping that this doesn't happen to me. So when I press this out, whoo, it looks a little bit like glue. Actually really crazy. Ooh, some juice is coming out here as well. Let's see. Not so easy to get it out, to be honest. But my nose is still okay. Very interesting. Like jelly. Like the package said. It is really good. I would say this is a 7 out of 10. It's not so sweet. That's what I like. I don't like those snack thingies when they are so sweet or too sweet, but it tastes not so much like mango. So that's the reason for 7 out of 10. Next, I'm going to take my paper with the dried texture paste, and I'm just trimming off the edges because, you know, the texture paste goes not to the very edge of the paper, and I don't want to waste any of this material with the texture paste on it. I'm just cutting that down to the size that I can run it through my machine, and then I'm placing my birdies here. What you can see here, I mean, the video material that you can see here is actually the video material from my German video, and I'm making a voiceover at the moment, so I can tell you what will happen in the next step or in the next seconds. I haven't realized that the texture paste is not totally dry. So you will see in a second that it will stick to my plate, and it made a really big mess. So please, please, please make totally sure that this texture paste is completely dry. I was nearly freaking out when I realized that everything was sticking to my plate. But that was my fault. It's not the fault of the texture paste, and it's not the fault of this technique. It works if you let it dry completely. Yeah. So please don't make this same mistake. I have fixed this by very carefully taking the die cuts out of the paper, taking the paper away from the plate, and then I have taken my heat gun and I've went over the surface while the paper was still in the die cuts. So the metal, of course, gets a little bit hot with that method, but you can just let it cool down a little bit. Please don't burn your fingers. And then you can get it out relatively easily. But again, let the texture paste dry and you will have absolutely no problems. This texture paste by Ranger is made for this technique. I mean, you can cut it with your die cut machine. It's made for that. And it normally works. I mean, cutting that or even embossing that with an embossing folder, I have done that several times and it works just great. But yeah, you know, camera on, brain off. So here we go. After I had cut out taken out those texture paste layers, I have also cut out some layers from scrap paper, and there something happened. You can see these white ones here. I have used some junk mail thingies because these layers don't have to be nice. Yeah, they can be ugly because they will not be shown in the end. But what you can see here was a happy accident. I had a leftover eco-dyed paper, and that was laying on my desk for several days. I had splattered some paint on it, and as you can see with this dark birdie there, it got relatively dark with the eco-dyeing because it was too close to the heat. But look at this, and this was totally coincidence. A happy accident deluxe, I would say. This little birdie came out when I cut the pieces out. I wanted to use this as one of the layers for the stamp as well, but I can't do it. Look at this. It looks like he has a little scarf, and can you see his closed eye? Like he's sitting somewhere and dreaming. So cool. They look so cute, and I definitely can't use these to put them as a layer to my stamp. That's not possible because we wouldn't see them later. So I came to the idea, why not putting those into my ephemera idea junk journal exactly to those pages where Barbara has stamped her gorgeous trees with her handmade stamps. I mean, that would be just perfect. So I'm trying to find the trees and I'm adding the birdies here to the pages where the trees are, and that is just gorgeous. They look just amazing there. I've had such a fun time to play around and find the right places for those birds, and I'm so in love. I so love them. You can't believe that. Look at that. Isn't this just perfect? That's just perfect, isn't it? Okay, so back to the stamps. I'm now taking those single layers and I'm gluing them all together. I'm using some bookbinders glue to make sure that this is really sturdy in the end. I don't want to have these things falling apart. And when I have that, they look like this. So here we have now the texture paste layer on the very top and the other layers underneath. And this is approximately 2 millimeters thick. And now I want to glue them to this little wood thingy here, like this. I'm also using some bookbinders glue. Then it looks like this. And I've realized the only one that doesn't fit to these wooden blocks is this one. So perhaps you are wondering where the other birdies are. I have them here. I have already used them for the German video, so that's what you have seen before. Sorry for the confusion. But you know, with making 2 videos for every prompt, it's not so easy. So I tried to save some time. So that's the reason why these are already black. I've used them for the other video. You can see that this doesn't fit here. So no matter how I put it here, like this or like this, you can see it's too big for this wood. We can't have something like this or like this going over the edge of the wood because there will be probably not enough pressure when we take that and stamp like this. So I thought, why not going a little bit crazy and trying something? I have no idea if that works, but let's see. I will take some scissors. I'm really sorry, little birdie, but we will cut your looks crazy. And now it still doesn't fit and it looks totally crazy, but why not trying to cut it here and here, and then take this thing, cut a little piece off like this, put that in here like so, so that we have these little lines on the stamp impression later, like this. I mean that he is staying like this. Would that be okay? I think we are going to try this. And what you also, of course, can do is you can take an awl and you can give them eyes. So I'm just deciding for the position for the eye and I'm just poking a little hole here. I've done that with these both as well. And that looks really cute in the end. And this one gets an eye as well, of course. Like this. And I think here I want to go a little bit crazy and I want to poke tiny holes through his neck Perhaps we can see that later. I have no idea. I haven't tried that out in the German video, but perhaps this gives us a nice impression later. So I will just go on and make some more. So when this is dry, we can try our first stamp impression with this. I'm using some StazOn ink, jet black. And just some scrap paper. Ooh, that was not so successful. I mean, really abstract, isn't it? Let's try it again. Yeah, that's way better. Not so happy with that, but what we can try is we can take a piece of felt or something similar that's a little bit fluffy. Aha! Look at that. Oh my goodness, those little dots. Aren't they just cute? That looks really cool. And I think you can't really tell that we've cut it. I mean, you can see these little gaps there, of course, but do you know what I mean? You can't really tell that we've puzzled it back together. Ah, okay, so I guess I have an idea why this is so different. This paper here is relatively glossy, and this is also a little bit glossy, but this one is obviously coffee dyed and it's matte. Don't know if you can see that in the camera, but that could perhaps be a thing that influences this stamp impression. I really don't know. I think this is very experimental, what we are doing here at the moment. But what I really like are these little dots here on this one. So I think I want to put a pattern to this one as well. Yeah. I mean, that looks like he has those Christmas tiny lights wrapped around him. I really like that. So I just want to decide. I need 3 of the birds today because I have something in my mind for this project, and I want to try stamping them to this little tag that we later on will glue to the other thing. Let's take the felt back. So we need a nice arrangement. We will definitely use this one because this one looks the most interesting. Medium well, I would say, but I like it. Oh, I'm a little bit in love. So I'm gluing this down with exactly the same method like the other one. And now I want to take this piece here that comes from Barbara at 49 Dragonflies. She has sent several scraps from her stash to me, and I can use them for my Dephemerember projects, and I have done the same for her. So she has some scraps from my stash as well that she can use. And I've already used a piece of this thing for the German video, so now this is already really small, but I think we can manage that. So I will just glue that here so that it looks like these little birdies are standing on a branch or something like that. For more dimension, I'm taking a Stabilo oil pen, just scribbling around here a little bit, and then I'm blending that with a wet paintbrush. Next, I'm going to add some white splatters. For a little bit more interest and detail. And while this is drying, and because we still need something to put into those pockets, I would like to show you a really cool technique that you can do with your die cuts themselves. For that, we are going to need something like this, felt or something similar that is relatively smooth. Take some more ink, hammer that on. Take it with the magnet, just mist it a little bit. And I really like this abstract look of this flower. Really, really cool. I will quickly dry that. Then it looks like this. And I'm hoping that you crazy guys out there will try this technique, or of course the other techniques, but especially this, and perhaps you find out some tricks or tips. If you want to share that with me, then please use hashtag Dephemerember in your posts. Perhaps you also want to make a video about this and show me your results and what you have found out with this. You have posted so many cool things in the last days about the other prompts of Dephemerember. I'm sure that you will find out really cool things with this technique. So please let me know, and perhaps you also want to write a comment below this video. Then of course you can also do that. Perhaps you have already tried this out, and perhaps you've already found something out that I don't know. Then please let me know, because I think this is a really cool way to get another dimension to your die cut pieces. I mean, if you would take this card and now cut this flower out with the die cut from a paper and then glue that on top here, then you would have a really cool focal point and this in the background. And that's what I really like about this idea, and that's why I have shown that to you, so that you can consider making that for your own junk journals. Perhaps you're wondering where the animal, the toucan, is. We haven't included him yet, but I will do that now. So I have just cut him out from the card, and I want to place him exactly here. And then I want to add a little quote that has to do with the toucan. Let me introduce you to Schreibsi. This is Schreibsi. He's called Schreibsi because this is a typewriter, as you can see. A very special typewriter, by the way. And typewriter in German means Schreibmaschine. To type is schreiben, and typewriter is Schreibmaschine. Maschine is machine. Yeah, really easy to translate. And this is actually a label maker. This was gifted to me by lovely Honey. Honey, if you're watching, thank you so much again for this. And for all of you who know me really well, look at the color. This fits so well to my craft room, and this is actually so fun to use. So you can take that and you can connect that with your phone. And on your phone, you have this app where you can type in what you want to have on your label, and then you can just print it out. And I have written the first part of my quote that I want to use. Two can do it. Like, two can do it. Do you know what I mean? And when I have that, I can just say print. Then you can see a little preview here. I just try to show you where it comes out. When I put my finger here to this little print button here, it comes out here. Now it is here. And we can use this little guy here to cut that off. Isn't this just crazy? So crazy. So now we have that here, but this is the size is really good, but I want to trim this off a little bit because this white is perhaps a little bit too crazy, too much. Like this. And then we have that. Two can do it. And I also want to write, but, oh, I think you can't see anything. I'm so sorry. That's so hard with the camera. Can you see it now? I'm hoping. But 3 can. So we are going to print this as well. Cut it off. But 3 can do it better. Isn't this just a crazy quote? So I'm printing this as well. Cut that off. So you can just turn it over, and here's a little slot in between of this removable thing, and then you can just take it off and stick it down where you want to have it. And by the way, this sticks really well. I have another label maker, and those labels that come out there drive me crazy. Even on normal paper, they don't stick. But this, I mean, here we have the texture paste, we have acrylic paint, and it sticks so well. And please don't forget to check out today's video on Barbara's channel. The link is down below in the description box. There you can find another idea on today's prompt. I'm really excited what she has done, especially because she's so good in making her own stamps. I'm really excited what she will do and what she will come up with. I guess it's not a tree and not a bird, but perhaps it's something new. I mean, a stamp image that she has never done before. That's what I'm trying to say. But you can never know. With 49 Dragonflies, collaborating with 49 Dragonflies is like, you can never know what will happen. These are standing out really much. So I want to try to blend them into the background a little bit by adding just some black Stabilo oil pen and then blending that with some water. Okay, so here we go. This is my idea for today's prompt. Handmade stamp, jumbo tag, and toucan. I really love how this came out. If you like it, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this. And show me your own handmade stamps on social media using the hashtag Dephemerember. And see you tomorrow with another prompt from our prompt list. Enjoy creating your own ephemera and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.